Hello, and welcome to COVID Confessions. This episode, we interview Leif Nelson, a student at Edison High School. This is another interview with a student, and although the students tended to give us shorter interviews, I'm always interested in what they have to say, as students were some of the hardest hit by social isolation. Leif had a lot to say in this one, and we really enjoyed talking to him. I hope you enjoy listening to the episode as much as we enjoyed recording it.
All right. We are here with Leif. Hello, Leif.
Hi.
If you could say your name, pronouns, and your relation to the school system.
Leif Nelson. He, him, I think, maybe? Well, who would know at this point?
Constant shift.
Yeah. And my relation to school system is I go to school.
Yeah.
What school do you go to?
Edison, I think it's technically called Edison Senior High.
Oh.
It's in Northeast Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
It's a public school.
Yeah.
Awesome.
About 1,000 people.
How long have you been going there?
I started. I've gone there since 9th grade. I'm in 12th grade now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to count.
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
4
Started
years.
in 2019. That would, yeah.
Right,
Awesome.
9, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to count it out.
It's awesome that we're all in 12th grade here, and yet we still have to take a second to be like, 1,
Yeah.
2,
I'm wearing my math team hat and everything.
4.
You just never get used to the numbers.
Yeah.
How do you like it there?
That's pretty good. A lot of my friends go there.
Nice.
I've gone to school with a lot of my friends since like kindergarten.
Oh yeah.
Because I went to what was at the time a K-8 school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Prior to the pandemic, how did you kind of do in school? How did you interact with the staff and your peers, and how did you do in school with schoolwork and grades and stuff?
I think I've always done well in school. A funny thing that to this day is still the case. The only class I've ever failed is advisory.
Oh.
As far back as the
That's me
transcript.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far back as the transcript goes, I did so since 5th grade.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because about a year or 2, year and a half-ish before the pandemic started, I got diagnosed and treated for ADHD, and there was a bit of an improvement to grades, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
But mostly where I felt that was socially.
Yeah.
So the pandemic hit at kind of a weird time where because it hit while I was in 9th grade. For the beginning of 9th grade, I was just kind of getting into a groove with an established friend group that I had started building up in 8th grade, and I was becoming sort of closer to a lot of them in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly everything went wonky.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Was it a really sudden transition? Because for us, we were like, oh, we'll come to school next week, and then no more school.
I'm trying to think. So I think we had a couple weeks before spring break was to start.
Mm-hmm.
We had it off.
Yeah.
And then we just had 3 weeks in a row just off of school.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that was nice at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it became entirely asynchronous distance learning for the last quarter of the school year, which was kind of rough just because nobody really knew what was going on. Because I remember towards the end I was really stressed because it was pass fail.
Yeah.
For the last quarter. There was an English assignment that I was really stressed about because I was worried that I would fail. It would do. I don't remember why I was what I thought would happen with it. I was worried it would like not get turned in or something, and I would fail the quarter, and by extension, like need to do something weird because you need 4 years worth of English to graduate. But also, I think it was like right, like going to the more social aspect. I think it was right at the end of the school year that me and a lot of my friends realized we could like meet up outside of school. And I remember going to a park near my house because I live in Minneapolis where there's like 3 parks within walking distance of everyone. So that was fun, and that continued over the summer.
Nice.
Kind of as COVID like started going through the school year, how did it change your like school experience? I was able to deal with it, but it felt like there was a video that I think my mom showed me it, and it was like, this is what ADHD feels like, and it was like a car with like a really long pole on top, and then it was like, and then there was like a light thing that said deadlines, and it like looks like it's about to hit it, and then it just barely goes under it. That's what the distance learning felt like. So it was nice to be able to get up at like 8 instead of 7. Because I'm not a morning person. If it wasn't for this, I'd probably be asleep right now, or like in bed. But in general, it was like, since the way it worked was we had like the class meets and we get the work, but normally because we had Google Meets, normally they did not last the entire class period.
Right.
And so I was basically just like sitting in my house at a desk, and I just like did not get nearly as much work done as I really should have, like during class time. So I would like work would pile up, and I would just barely be able to get it all done, which is why, because in the last quarter of 10th grade, because most 10th grade was distance, the last quarter, I was able to go back in person. So I did do that. That did not feel like, it felt like more than a quarter. Everything is weird.
Time works odd, especially like since COVID, I think. Sorry,
it's just that that's another thing. I think that like completely screwed with my sense of time. Everything felt like it's like squished and stretched. It like, you know, like the last, anything before like a week break just feels like it was a year ago.
That's true. Were there any ways that the school or staff were able to support you, like throughout distance, or?
One thing that was changed, I think, as we were going into distance learning, was they switched from like a 7-period schedule to like what they're calling a block schedule, where they'll have like 1 day a week. Because they've continued this still, and right now it's on Monday, but I think at the time it was Wednesday, where you have all of your classes for a shorter length of time. But what it would be is like you would have, on one day you would have like 4 classes for like an hour and a half each. And then like the other day you'd have the other 3 classes in advisory. I don't know if like that necessarily helped me a ton of time. I mean, my teachers were all like, I think, did their best to try to help. There was most of them had like, even after like the main lesson was done, you could usually like join back into a Google Meet to ask clarifying questions. And stuff. And I think one other advantage is that it is easier to set up like meetings with people during distance learning outside of class time, because it's all the same anyway.
Yeah.
Because I remember I did a thing called a personal project at the time, and I had to like talk to I forget what the word was, but there's like you have a staff that's helping you or whatever.
Yeah.
This wasn't something that the school did, but that I did, and unfortunately have brought forwards. Is like I would play like a game of like solitaire or Minesweeper. Wow, because what would happen is like there would be times where I'd find myself like getting distracted by like something and like looking something up, and that like would switch tabs and I'd be reading, and I was realizing that distracted me more than like just playing like a game like that.
Absolutely. Because at least it keeps your attention.
It keeps my attention. It doesn't put different words in my head. But yeah, the teachers, I think again, like, you know, underfunded public schools. That's another thing that happened. It was a bit after the pandemic. Is there was a strike during 11th grade. So that because Ed Graff was not very good superintendent. So this is like this year has been the most normal year I've had all high school. But I think like the teachers weren't terribly equipped to deal with it, but I think they all tried their best.
Definitely. Did the pandemic like affect your mental health in any way?
I think so. I felt like just a lot more demotivated a lot of the time. It felt like I just sort of felt like apathetic. I don't know. I think it was like kind of around the time I realized I think I might I had like anxiety. Maybe a little bit after. And I'm generally a fairly extroverted person. It depends. I don't know. It's who knows. But I've been known to get stir crazy in the past. So being home all day is weird.
Were there any ways that you like learned to cope with like being at home for so long?
I'm trying to think. I think a big part of it was like starting to hang out with friends more. There was at first because of the pandemic we couldn't really hang out inside of each other's houses. So what we'd end up doing a lot is like going to someone's house and just sitting around a campfire.
Oh wow!
That was fun. There was one like birthday party where we like camped out in someone's backyard. And that was all really fun. I like I mentioned the thing about having like a game of solitaire or Minesweeper. On what else? I don't know. I think a lot of the time through school I've just sort of it's the gifted kid syndrome thing of just like okay, just to use D&D terms, inch checking my way through it. And I think I kept trying to do that, and it was like technically working. Like I would just, but it was just not. It was always too close for comfort.
Just pushing everything off until like last minute.
Always just scraping by.
Did your grades take a hit, or were you able to kind of like get around that with your like procrastination?
I think I was able to get around it. I have
good.
It's I think like the teachers I have are fairly lenient with a lot of things. So like I don't very rarely do points get taken off for like late work or something. But and like I've maintained a good grade. I'm not sure how it compares to like now that I'm out of pandemic. But generally, I think I was still able to do well. It was just very stressed while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any changes with how you work now that you're back in person, or are you still working in like the same way with the procrastination? Not to call you out. But
I still procrastinate some. I've been trying to do better. Has been working.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing now where like I don't have to. I feel like I don't have to pay attention in a lot of my classes all the time. So like, there's like the one habit that I mentioned this earlier that I have brought from distance that I really shouldn't have is like, because now that this was another change that the school made and an accommodation they did is they gave like basically everyone Chromebooks to take home.
Yeah.
But now also like most of the classwork is on Chromebooks, which is great for me because I have terrible handwriting. I think I've lost points back in 9th grade in math class because my handwriting was so bad and like my 4s and 9s look the same.
Yeah.
I do sometimes like play. I still end up playing like right now. I've been playing Spider Solitaire too much.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just remembered the way I found the Spider Solitaire app. It was like, I'm pretty sure what it was is for like at the very end of 9th grade. We barely learned anything during that last quarter.
Yeah.
But one of my math classes, they tried to teach us statistics.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
just like a little bit. And I'm pretty sure as part of that, they like linked to this website that had a bunch of like card games and like Yahtzee and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's the website.
The progenitor of your habit.
Yeah. Before that, I just played on like Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
No. A lot of people that we've interviewed have like taken note of the fact that even after COVID, a lot of people have had like fairly blasé attitudes about school now that like COVID's done and people are like, oh, school doesn't really matter that much. Do you feel that like same thing?
A little bit. I think some of it is like senioritis sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, I've been experiencing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4th quarter.
Yeah.
4th year.
We hung on this long, like.
Yeah. I think we deserve a break.
Yeah. I don't know, like I still try. I'm done with the worst class I've ever taken. The hardest class,
Which
Theory
class?
of Knowledge.
Oh no!
What is
that? That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds like the final boss in like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah. You ask what it is. I don't know what it is. The teachers did not know what it was.
Oh, lovely.
So it was a great thing because it's 2 semesters, but it's between 2 different years. The first year, I took it. I had one teacher, and it was her first time teaching it.
Oh no!
The second year, I had a different teacher, and it was also her first time teaching it.
Oh no!
I think the second quarter of the second year of it is the lowest grade I've gotten since like 7th grade.
Yeah.
Some of that I think was like the teacher didn't grade all the assignments on time or something. I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah.
But I was just happy to be done with it.
How has COVID, has COVID had lasting effects on your life, and does it still like affect you or your mental health or how you're doing right now?
Probably. It's the weird thing of like I can't like peer into different timelines to see how it would have been.
Oh yeah.
But let me think. I mean I still wear a mask in school all the time. Part of that is just cover up my facial hair. when
Yeah.
it looks bad. Right now it's fine,
Yeah.
but it's because I shaved the horrible patch I get right there.
Oh, looks good.
Thank you. I don't know. It's just like I said, I think it sort of helped me realize I get anxious
Yeah.
a lot. I've started taking not Zoloft, but it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Sertraline.
The
Circulate, yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yo.
Yeah.
This is common knowledge that how base you are is determined by how many pills you have to take.
That's one of the best things I've heard.
Like 0 is no meds.
Yeah.
And like 10 is all the meds.
Yeah.
Every day.
I feel we had this discussion at some point on the Discord too. I don't.
Phoebe's like a 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I only take 2, so it's
Yeah, you're like a little
just a little bit.
Yeah.
on the 1 to 2 scale. You know.
Same here. Yeah.
It just so much. I think so much happened that like it made. I'm trying to think, like you mentioned the blasé attitude. I think like at least at the time I definitely felt more apathetic. I don't know if that's how much that's carried over.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much of that is just like time.
Yeah.
But speaking of time, like we mentioned a few times, my sense of time has just gone completely
Out of whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've that was the thing. I don't know. So much just happened during like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of
Oh.
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do you feel that like school staff and admin stuff could have like supported you better through the pandemic? Not just you as well, but like students in the school generally.
I don't know. I mean, I think it would have just been better if like they had more stuff like resources.
Mhm.
'Cause, again, schools are horribly underfunded.
Yeah.
Especially public schools.
Yeah.
And is UMA public?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't
And
sure.
It's
we
a
are
public charter.
poor.
They are poor. Yeah.
I think St. Paul is slightly better than Minneapolis at schools, but
Generally, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I'm sure there were definitely things teachers could have done better. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Like, I can't remember like teachers doing like specifically badly.
Absolutely. Have you noticed like any differences within your peers or your friend group?
I think myself and a lot of my friends have matured a lot over during this. And like a lot of it, like one of my friends told me like at the time, like during like when the pandemic started, he was like feeling kind of depressed, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't get better from depression, but you
Yeah.
like you
You
can
learn to live with
recognize
it.
it and you
Yeah.
can cope with it better.
Yeah.
And like this has started before COVID, but it's like another one of my friends who I used to really not get along with, but now is like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
It was in like
Yeah.
7th grade.
Funny how that works sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like has very clearly matured a lot, and like now I trust him with like
Yeah.
it's I'm not good with words always.
Fair.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair.
Better speaking than writing though.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think like it has hit a lot of my peers also just it was not good for anyone's mental health.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened, and there's really not taking it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, God, that was when like the first UMA server was.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was so stressful.
Yeah.
I did not. The reason I didn't join the new one for a while was just because I was
because it's like just scared of the same thing
Yeah, I was
happening
like-
again.
Yeah.
nope. These elections and this.
Dude, I cannot believe
Server
that we
elections.
did elections for admin of the server when there were like 30 people.
Yeah.
I think we should keep doing that.
We should not.
It was. Yeah.
Did you lean into a lot of that, like, online communication with friends?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a Discord until I think soon before the pandemic. I remember in I think it was like the D&D Discord server, like looking through all of them. I think mine was like the newest account or something.
Yeah.
It was one of them at least.
Yeah.
But and at the start of the pandemic, I used Instagram to like talk to my friends.
Yeah.
I don't use it very much anymore because like I think I somehow made 2 accounts or something, and like I couldn't like get into my account, and it was also with my school email, so
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh no.
I never used it.
Yeah.
Good thing you freed yourself from Instagram
Yeah.
on accident.
Now I just either use Discord or text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fair.
Did you... I mean, I feel like this is obvious from what we were talking about, but did you... How did you feel overall about learning from a distance? Or, like, specifically working online?
It was not worth it. Like
Yeah.
like I said, like getting up later, very nice. Not having being as rushed was nice, and like it was but it was like more freedom, I guess. But
Yeah.
it just I need the structure.
Yeah.
And like
absolutely.
one of my friends, they actually I think really liked the distance learning. Right now they're
Yeah.
doing like PSEO, where
Yeah.
I think you get a lot of similar things where like the classes are a little bit more freeform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also really smart.
Mhm.
Got 35 on the ACT.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I feel the exact same way. Like looking at all my peers who do PSEO, and I'm like, I can barely do high school work.
Yeah. I could maybe do it. I don't
Yeah.
know. It would be stressful.
Mhm.
And a bunch of my friends still go to my school. Some of my friends have switched schools. Like one of them never actually went to Edison, and then I have another friend who went to the same school. He's going to Avalon.
Yeah.
I think Ashton is going there now, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ashton's there now.
So that's funny.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then like a couple of my friends started PSEO. This is not terribly relevant, but it just reminded me that like I still don't know how to make friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's entirely fair.
Because I've gone to like most of the friends that I've made since like kindergarten have been through other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I met you two through Phoebe.
Yeah.
And like I have some of my friends I've met at Edison. I mostly made through people that I've known from Marcy, which is the middle and elementary school I went to. But and I don't know. I don't think the pandemic has necessarily affected that, but like I'm a little worried going into college because I'm going to go out of state.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to Michigan Tech,
Wow.
and I don't think any of my friends are. So that's going to be weird.
Yeah. I would argue that the pandemic had to do with that. I mean, you missed 2 years of socialization. You have a bunch of kids at your school that you never, like,
Yeah.
were able
Yeah.
to develop that bond with because you were online and at home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We're pretty lucky at UMA because we had like our grade. We started in 9th grade, and I think like there's been a net change of maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
Phoebe joins us.
Well, because Phoebe started
At fair, right?
Well, no, Phoebe was at UMA
Yeah.
and then left and then came back.
Yeah. We had a few of those stories.
Yeah, we did with Liam as well.
Liam,
Really? I didn't
I
actually
think
know that.
Bonnie too.
Yeah, and Max.
And Max and June.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a lot of like people leave and then be like, "Oh damn, I actually liked it there," and then come back.
Yeah.
It was so weird meeting Max again.
Yeah.
Because I went
He's a
to...
funny person.
Yeah.
Also, I went to... like, I was friends with them in, like, kindergarten.
Yeah.
And then, like, now, like, they're your cousin, right?
Yeah, they're my cousin.
Yeah.
And I was just... I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the things that happen.
Things that happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think a large part of the weirdness with COVID was, like, change is stressful.
Mhm.
Yeah, in any context.
In any context. It's, like, a lot of the time it is very necessary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think it was nice having 2 sort of friend support groups
Mhm.
because like I'm in the UMA server. I've got
Yeah.
friends there, and then I also have my friends from my school.
Yeah.
So like when I don't know, stressful election-y things are happening were happening in UMA. I could
Yeah.
I don't know, talk to some of my other friends. That's one thing. I haven't done this all the time, but I think starting around the pandemic, almost every night, some people will be on a voice call in
Yeah.
a Discord server, in like my school friends' Discord server,
Mhm.
and they'll just like hang out, play games or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unless like we're actively hanging out that night,
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's usually someone.
Yeah.
And I think right now there's like 11 or 12 people in that server.
Mhm.
Mhm. It's a nice, comfortable amount of people.
Yeah. And yeah, just remembering, just about the change thing when Phoebe first came out as trans.
Yeah.
It was during distance learning, and
Oh my god, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
oh my god.
I found out.
Sorry, I remember because Phoebe and I were on a call and I helped her pick out her new name.
Yeah.
And that was distance learning.
I remember being on a call
Yeah.
when she was looking for a new name.
Yeah.
And I remember being on a call the night before I found out.
Mhm.
And then, I went to bed because I had school.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I was, at the time, it just sort of, even, adding to, the sort of feeling of instability.
Yeah.
My mom had a kidney stone.
Oh no!
Oh.
So, my mom was in ER with a kidney stone. It was lunch break during distance learning. I was going to the bathroom. And then I go on Discord, and there's a message that's like, so anyways, I'm trans,
Yeah.
she, or now it's they, she, but,
Yeah.
and, if Leif and Sandra, if you tell your parents, I'm going to hurt you.
You're right. I remember that.
Because,
Yeah, that's fair.
because they weren't up to their parents yet, and
Yeah.
my parents and their parents are very good friends.
Yeah.
No.
Did you have a lot of other people sort of come out during the pandemic? Because I think Phoebe
No,
was kind of the precursor, but there were
And then,
obviously
and then,
it wasn't
I
Phoebe's
came
fault.
out, and
Yeah,
then,
but then a bunch of
and-
people
and-
ended up
I'm trying to think.
I mean,
So
I
many-
kind of came out.
So many people during the pandemic and after were like, oh wait, gender?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Going through my friends, I have 2 friends that, a couple of my friends were already out as trans.
Yeah.
One of them, I think, around this time came out, realized he was gay. There's this
Yeah.
very funny story about that, where in 8th grade, this is the same friend that I used to not get along with.
Yeah.
Now is very close. He was trying to prove that he was not gay.
Oh, no.
That's how we all start out.
He was talking about attractive men. And he was like, and then could not think of attractive women.
Yeah.
And then asked me to try to think of one, and the only woman I could think of was Harriet Tubman. So that was, yeah. Probably should have known that something was going on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of friends sort of like that that went to UMA came out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think Loretta did.
Yeah.
When
Loretta was
last
year,
year.
like
Was it?
significantly after.
Yeah.
It was, and then like a lot of my friends, I think it was a bit after, like in this past year, have
Yeah.
begun realizing things. It was at that point I realized I was bi. Which I don't know, and I have to think I've been experiencing a constant identity crisis for the past like my entire life.
Yeah.
I have no idea who I am at any given point in time.
I feel you there.
Yeah. But I remember one of my friends, their parents went to a They Might Be Giant concert.
Your shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wore the shirt. I didn't go to the same day, but it was the same sort of concert,
Yeah.
and I wore the shirt.
Yeah.
A few was there too. And we like not long after we were hanging out at one of my friends' houses, and they came, and the way they came out, as I think at the time it was he they, but right now I think it's they them that they use. With wearing there was like these like little hat things that just said they on them.
Nice.
And I think a lot of my other friends have been realizing things.
Yeah. Yeah, we're probably wrapping up soon.
Makes sense.
So just as like, well, first of all, did you have anything you wanted to talk about before we wrap up?
Yeah. Any closing notes?
I don't know. Just stressful, but I was able to do things, and now I'm almost done with high school, so that's nice.
How's your outlook for the future moving forward?
Pretty good, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep.
That feels about right.
That's how a lot of us feel, I think.
College is trying to do college things is stressful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This was fun.
One final question, just for funsies.
Funsies.
Just for funsies. If you could go back and sort of like give your past self a heads up, like, is there any note that you would want to pass along? Just like, do better in school, or like
do better.
Stay away from spider solitaire.
Stay away from spider solitaire.
Like, is there any like small note that you would make?
I don't know. If there was some note I could give myself to like cheat the system and the answer to, or like I don't know.
Here are the answers to every single like math test for the foreseeable future.
Math except for that one that I did fine on that. I did fine on it.
Yeah.
I just didn't do as good as I could have. Just I don't know. Yeah, I feel like such a different person now that I don't even know how I would be able to communicate to my past self. So
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
Well, thank you very much for meeting with us.
Thank you.
It is 12:58.
Okay, wow, that was very accurate time estimate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for everything, Leif.
Of course.
And I hope, or no, not I hope. I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
You too. You both of you too.